Hello, and welcome to another 9-minute Bible study. Our starting point is Luke chapter 4, verse 24. And let's read the verses. And he, Jesus, said, Verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. But I tell you of a truth, many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah, when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months, when great famine was throughout all the land. But unto none of them was Elijah sent, save unto Zarephath, a city of Sidon, unto a woman that was a widow. Verse 27. And many lepers were in Israel in the time of Elisha the prophet, and none of them was cleansed, save Naaman the Syrian. To understand what's going on here, let's go back first to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 17. In the first part of 1 Kings chapter 17, Elijah is sent to Ahab, the king of the 10 northern tribes of Israel. Up to this point, Ahab has led the kingdom into one of its worst stretches of idolatry they had ever seen. The Lord sent the prophet Elijah. The prophet said, It's not going to rain until I say so. Then Elijah disappears. Where does he go at first? He goes, in the beginning of this chapter, to the brook Cherith, where he is fed by ravens in the morning and in the evening, and they kept him alive. Now, when the water began to run out of the brook, in 1 Kings 17, verse 8, we see the following. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Sidon is a Gentile city. Are we together on this? It's not in the 10 northern tribes of Israel. Elijah was being told to leave the country. Let's keep going. What does it say? And when he came to the gate, verse 10. So actually, let me reread verse 9. We'll get it all together right here. Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. One of the interesting things about this is, when the Lord spoke this to Elijah, the widow woman does not yet know about this, but she is going to be obeying the command of the Lord. Verse 10. So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks, and he called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. As she was about to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thy hand. So here is Elijah. He's in Zarephath. He's in a Gentile city. He is dealing with a Gentile woman. And what does he say? He wants food out of an empty barrel. Verse 12. And she said, As the Lord thy God lives, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. Talk about misoptimism here. She realized she just barely have enough food for her son, and then it was going to be curtains. Verse 13. And Elijah said unto her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. verse 14. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sends rain upon the earth. Now, let's talk about this woman for a second. She's a Gentile. She has no knowledge of the Lord, not like Israel should have. She has just been told to do this, and if she does this every day, they are going to have food until the drought breaks. Now, the woman, she has to take a step of faith. She has to believe Elijah enough to do what he said. She could have said, get out of here, you charlatan. Go back to your land. You caused all of this anyway. We're going to die a quiet, peaceful death. But she did not. What did she do? She went and did according to the saying of Elijah. And she and he and her house did eat many days. In other words, she obeyed. Now understand the situation. Elijah is sent to this house by the Lord God. The woman, she is the only one that has faith of anyone that Elijah could have went to. What did Jesus say? Elijah was not able to go to any of the households of Israel because none of them had the faith for this to happen. But this widow, even though she doesn't know it yet, she has the faith for this to happen. What did Jesus say? A prophet is without honor in his own country. Where did Elijah go to get his big honor moment here? It wasn't in the cities of Israel. It was only when he went to Sidon, to Zarephath, to this widow. And when the widow obeyed, what do we see? The miracle. Not just one day, but every day until the drought broke. In short, until it began to rain after Mount Carmel, the lady was fed out of that barrel every single day. That's what it says here. Now, let's apply this to what Jesus had said. Who did the Lord send Elijah to? The widow. Why? Because Israel did not have the faith to believe Elijah. But the widow woman did. This sets up what's going to happen in the church age. Israel rejecting the Christ. And where is the gospel message going to go? Literally, Sidon, into Zarephath, and to the rest of the world. The gospel going forth to all nations. This is the hidden meaning of this section. And we're going to get more into this in our next lesson.